In this context, Donatella hears Scarlett and Julian talk about Julian as Legend's brother, because it wasn't necessarily super clear that Donatella knew that fact. Obviously, Scarlett did. It's one of the things Scarlett found out during the last Caraval, helped make Julian very sus to her. But that fact is reiterated. Now we know that Donatella knows that Julian is definitely Legend's brother, right? And that seems like the fact that she was meant to overhear part of the clue, etc., from walking down the tunnel. But when Julian leaves the room, Donatella enters, and Scarlett's wearing like Legend's gown. She's dressed up as Legend, and she's been left a clue from Julian to give to Donatella. And while they chat, Scarlett and Donatella talk about like, do we think this is true, or is this just another lie that these men are telling them? Okay, is it just another Caraval made upness that Julian is Legend's brother? Is it legit? Is it not? Can they trust anything these people tell them anymore? There is no consensus. So we're left guessing, they're left guessing. Is this a truth or is it a fallacy? The clue that Scarlett gives to Donatella tells her to go to the woman of like parchment and ink, and Donatella's like, I know who that is. I've already seen where she is. I know where to go. Let's wrap up the day. So they decide to go to bed, and Scarlett is like, come see me in the morning. But Scarlett seems to be hiding something. So in the morning, Donatella goes to get Scarlett from her bedroom. Scarlett's not there. Donatella's like, okay. So Donatella goes on her own to the woman of parchment and ink. And when she's walking there, that she doesn't see any actors from Caraval that she knows. And it seems like everyone else who's taking part in the game is on a completely different path to her. Alert, alert, finds the woman that she thinks is the woman of parchment and ink. It turns out to be Aiko from book one, the historian of Caraval, who's obviously always got her book with her. And she tells Donatella that Donatella can ask her any one question for free, but Donatella wastes it. So when Donatella sees a wanted poster with her mother's face on it, she has to give Aiko something in exchange. And on the poster, you find out that the woman that's been called Paloma up until now, her real name is actually Paradise. And in exchange for giving Donatella any information about her mother, the woman now known as Paradise, Aiko says Donatella has to give her the last memory she has of her mother. And unfortunately, that final memory is of Donatella's mother telling her why she shouldn't touch the mother's set of special tarot cards. And she tells Donatella that fates trap unsuspecting humans inside tarot cards and that they can't escape unless. And Aiko takes the rest of the memories. We don't know how people get free of the cards. Now that she's given over the memory, Aiko can tell Donatella about her mother. And it turns out that, you know, her mother had loads of suitors, everyone wanted her, but what her mum wanted was adventure. And so she stole, are you ready? Are you ready? A magic set of tarot cards. Who'd have thunk it? And not only is this set of tarot cards magical, it is in fact the magic set of tarot cards that the witch trapped all of the fates inside. It is the deck of cards that had the fates within it. So the very deck of cards that we've seen from page 1 of this book mentioned are actually the legit magical cards that have kept the fates trapped for however many years. And the same set of cards that are somehow linked to Legend and his powers via the witch that was involved with the whole palaver. It turns out that the witch had put a repellent on the cards. So in Donatella's memory, that they always smelt bad and it kept people away, like leaving the cards alone. But it started to deteriorate enough that Donatella was able to go over, pick them up, play with them. And so to protect the girls, their mother took the cards and ran away, abandoning the kids with evil dad. Things are starting to make sense. Donatella remembers that the wording of the actual clue she'd been given was to find the woman of parchment and ink, and her mother's wanted poster is written on parchment and drawn in ink. So when she turns it over, there is another clue that tells her she has to follow her heart, and she assumes, well, that must be follow things to do with my mother. My mother is always in my heart. Aiko then shares with Donatella the last little bit of the story, and that's that Paradise ran away with the deck of cards in the hope of destroying them completely. While she's saying this, Donatella starts bleeding, and we start realizing that the blood that seems to be coming out of different orifices, cuts, whatever, is obviously to do with the fact that she has kissed Jax and is dying. So Donatella goes back to her bedroom, starts looking for Scarlet, and this did make me laugh. When a servant finds her and she's looking for someone, the servant assumes that she must be looking for Dante. And Donatella's like, well, no, I'm looking for my sister. You remember how she had to follow her heart? Is it maybe that Dante is her heart? We will see. We will see. But she finds out that Scarlet isn't there anymore. She has gone over to Idlewild. I can't remember. She's gone to Jax's castle. As she's on her way to Jax's castle, Donatella gets like attacked verbally and then physically by 3 women who it turns out are fates, right? They attack her and luckily she's got those gloves that Dante gave her. And she gets into like an actual fight. It turns out that these fates are all looking for the deck of cards. And Donatella realizes that that must be the final thing you have to look for in Caraval. Legend wants the deck of cards too. So that is the final task for you to win Caraval. She's going to have to find the cards. And she's not only competing against everyone else playing at Caraval, now all of the fates are looking for the same items as well. Talk about upping the ante from book 1. Like, she's not searching for her sister. She's literally fighting for her life. If she does not get the deck of cards, she won't win the game, which means she won't meet Legend, which means she can't introduce Jax to Legends and thus live. Drama, drama, drama. We love it. They have like a proper scuffle. Donatella ends up like jumping in a river and they all fight in the water. It gets messy. But she manages to like beat these women, get free, and she's really injured. Dante yanks Donatella out of the water. While she's all injured and duffed up, she says to Dante she wishes she hadn't kissed Jax. And she only did it to make Dante jealous. And Dante admits it worked. It did affect him. It ticked him off. Donatella passes out, and when she wakes up, she's kind of listening into this conversation between Dante and Julian. And Julian makes her drink something. She doesn't know what it is at this point. And Dante's like, we need to take her to Scarlet so that Scarlet can look after her when she wakes up. Obviously hoping or assuming that Donatella won't remember that it was actually Dante and Julian doing stuff to help heal her. They'll just return her to Scarlet and let Scarlet look after her. And she never has to know that they were the ones that did anything. Kind of shebang. When Donatella wakes up, she is in fact with Scarlet, but Jax is there. And Jax lies about how Donatella got hurt because Scarlet doesn't know the truth. And Jax is like, oh, there was a carriage accident. Da, da, da. And Scarlet falls for it hook, line, and sinker. And Scarlet is looking all like doe-eyed at Jax. Jax has won Scarlet over. She's all like gooey-eyed, like, oh, this prince, this heir to the Empress. Oh, he's so dreamy. Oh, he's gonna marry my sister. She's like, oh my goodness, all of a sudden Donatella has found herself like a catch. Jax is a catch. He's not. And you find out that Caraval has been paused for a day so that Jax and Donatella can go and have dinner with the Empress as a couple, as fiancés. We then get this really funny reveal when Jax leaves and he thinks he's like totally been smooth. And Scarlet's like, what the hell is going on? That man is dodgy AF. And it turns out that from the beginning of Caraval to now, Scarlet has learned to play the game and we love it. So she tells Donatella, like, what is actually going on? And Donatella doesn't know if she can trust Scarlet. And Scarlet's so offended. And Donatella's like, well, look, I'm playing the game. You're not playing the game. You could be one of the actors. You could be part of the troupe. You could be doing Caraval, but as part of Legends troupe. And Scarlet is like, how dare you think that I would do that to you? After all of the shenanigans, after all of the lying from Julian to me, I'm not a part of Legends troupe. I am not playing the game. That is bang out of line. I would never do that to you. And Donatella rightfully feels like trash. Because, I've said it before and I'll say it again, Scarlet is 10 times a better sister to Donatella than Donatella is to Scarlet. I will stand by this. It is true. While all of this aggro is going on, they're trying to convince the other one to trust them. they're in this nebulous space of what is true, what isn't, that always happens around Caraval. The two of them do, however, agree that of all the untruths around them, they're going to choose to believe, like they think that it's real, that Julian is Legend's real brother. You know, of all the other things that are going on, it'd be a weird thing to lie about. Donatella goes to dinner with Jax and meets the Empress, Elentine. And Jax is acting really weird. Okay, he's acting quite submissive. I think at one point he actually blushes, and Donatella's like, why is this man being so strange? And Elentine obviously seems quite fond of him. She mentions that she's worried, like, about the fact that Jax never seems to eat anything but apples because he's so worried about being poisoned. Obviously, our poor dear Empress Elentine has no idea that the apples are part of Jax's curse. And the Empress comments on Donatella's ring. She's got this opal ring from her mum. Elentine's like, oh, that would have cost a lot of money. It's a key to the Temple of the Stars. Whilst they're having dinner, some of the actors from Caraval come in and they're performing a play. And it is about Jax, the Prince of Hearts, trapping unsuspecting people inside what they're now calling the Deck of Destiny, right? So you know that the story Donatella's mother told her was true because Jax was actually the fate that used to trap people inside cards. And Donatella asks Jax while the play is going on, hey, what is your end game here? What are you actually wanting to do if you win the game? And Jax says that he's going to drink Legend's blood. And that somehow by drinking Legend's blood, Jax is going to get more power. And Donatella realizes that Jax is probably hoping to use that power to free all the other fates, because not all of them have been freed from the Deck of Destiny. There are still fates trapped away, and Jax wants to free all the others. When the play finishes, Jax goes out to get Elentine a drink. I think it's some water. And Elentine asks Donatella, like, why are you engaged to Jax? And Donatella's honest. She's like, I want to save my mum. And Elentine's like, okay. The next day, Caraval's obviously started back up again. And Donatella is thinking, like, what should I do? What should I do? But she decides to follow her heart and go to the Temple of Stars. As clearly, this ring came from her mum. Her mum is the person she loves most. The logic is there somewhere. Guess who is at the temple when she arrives? If you guessed Dante, you were correct. And he tells her that her robe is tied incorrectly. So he helps her retie her robe. It's like a toga. And, you know, she's digging it. She's digging, like, he has to undress her a bit to dress her back up. And she's pretending she doesn't like it, but she loves it. A distinctive thing about Dante is that he's covered in tattoos. Obviously, his heart tattoo was pivotal to plot story 1, but he's got loads of others. And Donatella sat there wondering, like, does he actually like me? Or are we just playing part of the game? What's real? What's not? Can I trust him? Can I not? He could be Legend for all you know. Don't get me started, okay? But she has that thought at this point. Asks Dante about his tattoos, and the one that he won't talk about is this, like, heart that's dripping blood. He does tell her a story from his childhood about a ship. He starts teasing her about, obviously, the fact that she is attracted to him, and she's having none of it. She walks away. She gets to the door, she's knocking on it. Who's right by her side? Dante. He's followed her. We love that for him. I wouldn't use the word whipped, but she's kind of like, yeah, you just can't leave me alone. And he's like, I can, I just choose to spend time with you. You know, he could walk away, he just doesn't want to, kind of vibes. The door gets opened by this guy with this, like, funky tattoo on his face. And he says that he'd have to have some of Donatella's blood to let her into the temple. She shows him her ring. And he is like, oh, that's a key to one of the vaults downstairs, but it's actually cursed. That's why it's the color it is. Your mum owes us a debt. And in order to go down to that vault, you'd have to pay her debt. So she's not going to get the chance to use this ring as a key until she gives them whatever her mother promised. Donatella pricks her finger and has a vision of the promise her mother made. And she promised her second-born child in exchange for being able to hide, guess what, in the temple? Guess what she hid in the temple? The Deck of Destiny, the cards. So she had to give their second child because that second child would have immense power, whatever that means. And Donatella's like, well, I have one older sister. Trouble this way comes. At this point, she's really upset. Like, her mum basically sold her to these people, and in order to, not die, God only knows what she's gonna have to do to make this happen. And Dante rushes in, right? You can hear her crying. She's a mess, and he picks her up and he helps her back. And he kisses her head. Okay, and while we love big romantic kisses, like, kisses are on the head, guys. That's so cute. He asks her, like, where do you want me to take you? And she just says, I just want to forget. Somewhere I can forget about all of this. And we get, like, a really cute DMC where Dante tells Donatella about his parents and his upbringing. They kiss a lot, okay? And they admit that they do really like each other. So Donatella tells Dante the truth about what is going on with her and Jax. Now, if Donatella wins the game, it turns out that Legend will heal her. Like, any injuries she sustains during the game aren't going to count. And obviously kissing Jax was as part of Caraval, right? So if she wins the game, regardless of whether Jax holds up his end of the bargain or not, she's going to live. Legend will heal her with his magic. But in order to win the game now, she has to give herself over to the Temple of Stars. She's got to pay the debt. She belongs to the temple. Only her ring is going to be able to open the vault that's got the cards in it, which she needs to win the game. And the only way she can use the ring is if the debt is paid and the curse is lifted. But Dante insists that they'll find another way. How cute is that? They will find another way to make things work out. She's not going to have to give herself over to the temple. And then he asks her, like, why are you bleeding? Donatella sees Scarlet with Jax, but Scarlet leaves and Donatella's left to talk to Jax. And are you ready for the gag of the century? She can feel his heart beating. Jax's heart does not beat, and it won't beat until it's one true love. So Donatella takes the logical leap to be like, well, you've kissed me. I should have died from your kiss probably by now, but I haven't. And now your heart is beating. The only woman who can make your heart beat is your true love. Maybe I made your heart beat. That's why I'm not dead, because your one true love would be the only person immune to your curse. Maybe I am your one true love. And Jax is like, nope. Jax denies that they are one true loves and says, no, you still need to win this game. Okay, he doesn't want to lose his leverage over her, but he insists that if she goes down and she gets that deck of cards, she gives them to him instead of Legend. He tells her, like, Legend is the baddie. He's got the other fates trapped in these cards and Donatella's mum trapped in the cards as well. She should not trust Legend. She shouldn't rely on Legend to heal her. Jax is the one whose kiss has cursed her. She should trust Jax, not Legend. And then Donatella's really conflicted, right? Who does she believe? Dante insists that as long as she wins the game, Legend will heal her. Jax is adamant, no, you've got to win the game and come to me. Do not go to Legend. So really, she's got to trust either Dante or Jax. Really, really not the best choices. And she starts really thinking, like, well, what if Dante is Legend? That's why he's trying to convince her to trust Legend. Is anything between her and Dante real? Dante's obviously a liar. He's part of Caraval. Jax is also just generally a liar. So really, she can't trust no man. There is, however, this idea that she has like a second where she's like, do I actually want to save my mum? Clearly my mum was shady AF and a liar, and she's caused me all this trauma. Maybe I should just leave my mum trapped in those cards. I mean, I get it. I get where Donatella's coming from. And maybe she should just leave them in the vault. Okay, not give herself up to the temple forever and ever and ever to save someone ungrateful and deal with all of the extra drama. Maybe she should just leave things as they are. Leave everyone trapped and sod off. Hopefully she won't die from a magical kiss that's supposedly killing her that she doesn't know if it's killing her or not. Donatella wakes up the next day and she's feeling like a ton better. Like all of the funky stuff that she's been feeling, because she was kind of dying, doesn't feel bad anymore. So she's like, maybe I'm not cursed. Maybe I am absolutely fine. She also receives a letter from Elentine, the Empress, wondering if this famous thief, Paradise the Lost, is Donatella's real mother. Okay, the Empress has made the same connection from the way Donatella described her mother at the dinner that she'd been invited to. And Elentine's like, look, if your mother is Paradise the Lost, I will help you find her. I want to find Paradise the Lost too. And I know you're looking for your mum. If they're the same person, let's work together. And this just kind of brings to mind for Donatella, like, look, she obviously doesn't understand her mum much, but does her mum really deserve to be trapped in a deck of cards forever? Probably not. So she decides, yeah, I'm going to recommit to saving my mum. We're now at the point where the masquerade ball is happening, so Donatella starts getting dressed. A maid brings in her costume, and like where the candles were, there's now like spikes with opals, and that's known as a symbol of making a really difficult choice. And Donatella sees this and's like, yep, this is definitely the costume I'm meant to wear. I am about to make an impossible choice. Am I going to sacrifice myself to save other people? Apparently, Elentine's lost heir has returned, and now Elentine has taken ill. So Donatella is worried about her. She's worried about saving her mum. She's worried about, not dying. Girl's got a lot of pressure going on. Donatella goes to the party, but she's invited to Elentine's tower to watch the fireworks, and Elentine is looking rough, and she admits that Legend had been giving Elentine these potions to make her look younger and healthier to try and keep Jax at bay, keep this apparent heir off the scent, leave her be, make him think that Elentine is super fit and healthy and the Empire is really secure. They start talking about Paradise the Lost, and obviously Donatella is really annoyed that her mum basically abandoned her, and Elentine reveals that she kind of did the same with her child. She can empathize with Paradise the Lost. Maybe Paradise isn't the baddie that Donatella is worried she is. While they're talking, Donatella realizes that her ring has changed color. Dante must have sacrificed something in order to get the curse lifted from the opal so that she can go and access the deck of cards without sacrificing herself. So Tella goes to the temple and asks, hey guys, what was traded in exchange for removing this curse from this ring key that I've got? And they say that Dante has made a promise that if he breaks, they won't tell her what it is he's promised, but if he ever breaks that promise, he will die. So she is like, oh my god, Dante FTW. She goes down and has the coin on her, goes to get the cards, and she's like, if I get the coin out now, Jax will appear. I can give a card straight to him, or should I just grab the cards and meet Legend? Because Legend will be there the moment the cards are grabbed. She will win. And she decides to just pick them up. She doesn't get the coin out. As she's got the cards in her hand, guess whose voice she hears? Who is it almost every time? It's Dante! And she doesn't want to believe that Dante is Legend, right? He comes up to her, they kiss, and she realizes he's got this brand on his wrist, which is obviously a symbol of the promise he has made to free Donatella from the bargain of belonging to the temple. And he says, look, I would make any trade for you. This is real. And it all feels real. Donatella's like, oh my god, he's so amazing. This is where everything gets messy, okay? Because Donatella's got the coin out now, and she tells Dante, look, Jax is coming, and he wants to steal Legend's power. If you're Legend, you need to escape. Jax is coming for you. And Dante is so betrayed because she has kind of dobbed him into Jax, but he can realize it's not about him, it's not about her, it's about her mum and freeing her mum. She wants her mum out of the cards. But Donatella realizes there is a way to save everyone, so she writes her name in blood on the card that has her mum trapped in it and takes her mum's place inside of the card. Dante picks up the opal ring from the floor, pours like his magic blood over the cards. He cuts himself and bleeds all over them, and he removes the enchantment on the cards. He frees all of the fates because he cannot stand for Donatella to be trapped in the cards. So he has saved Donatella. Oh, you think this is this euphoric, like, oh my god, Dante is a hero. Legend is a hero. He loves Donatella enough to let all the fates be free. Not quite. Donatella goes to kiss him. He kisses her like really gently and pulls away and tells her quite explicitly, look, I am not a hero. I am not your hero. And that there is somewhere he needs to be. And he leaves her. This is the point where Jax turns up. Donatella's at a real low and he's like, well, what did you expect from Legend? No one said that Legend was a good guy. Even Julian, you know, who is actually Legend's brother, he is Dante's brother, was going to leave because Dante was so lost and not a good guy anymore. Jax is like, well, more fool you for expecting anything different. But happy days, all of the fates are free. And Jax explains that it's going to take a while for them to all regain their strength because coming out of the cards takes a lot out of you. Donatella's fine because she was only in the card for like a minute or seconds, but everyone else who's been inside the cards, they're going to be feeling rough right now. So it's not as if you've immediately got this influx of fates with tons and tons of superpowers. They're going to need to recoup, get some R&R before they're all back at full power. This also counts for Paradise/Paloma, Donatella's mum. Jax then carries Donatella back to Scarlet. Scarlet's with Julian, they've totally made up, and Julian seems really relieved when Donatella says that Legend left the moment that she won the game. And then they're like, Jax, why aren't you watching the fireworks with Elentine? And he reveals that Elentine's true heir has turned up, and that's who she is watching the fireworks with. Jax is adamant that his heart is beating, but it's not beating for Donatella. She isn't his true love. She isn't the reason that his heart is beating again. He does, however, want to fulfill his promise to Donatella and take her to her mother. But Donatella's like, I still hate you. Put me down. I can't trust you at all. You are a shady, shady man. And he's like, yeah, that's probably for the best. And leaves. Jax bows out. Okay, he knows not to push his luck. Julian reminds Donatella that the whole shtick of Caraval is that Legend makes the winner feel great about themselves. And basically, he doesn't even imply it. He explicitly says it. Like, this is all part of Legend's shtick. This is what he does. He convinces people that they are the center of the world, the center of attention. They win the game. It's all about them. And you've basically been suckered into this whole thing that Dante does with Caraval. And when he leaves, Donatella admits to Scarlet, like, I did the worst thing of all. I actually believed him. I fell in love. I couldn't distinguish between reality and fiction. And so Donatella's really sad. Jax does bring Paloma/Paradise to Donatella, like he promised. He's going to fulfill his side of the bargain. But she's in a coma. She is not compos mentis, up and around talking to anyone right now. While they're there with their mother, Scarlet admits to Donatella that, yeah, she's giving Julian another chance, but she's also giving the Count another chance. So Julian's not in the clear. Okay, Julian's gonna have to go through the ringer in order to win Scarlet's hand. And he has competition, okay? The Count never did anything wrong, the real Count. So Scarlet's like, nah, gotta give him props. He was my fiance first. The Count is now back in the running. We then get an epic twist, which is bells start ringing. They go outside to see the Empress with her heir. And yet again, for the final time during this video, I want you to guess who it is. Ready? 1, 2, 3. It's Dante! It turned out Legend has had this round of Caraval played in the city of Valenda, involved the deck of cards, getting all the fates free, to position himself as the heir to the throne. He is the Empress's lost heir. He is going to claim the throne. This entire empire is going to be his. So Tella's like, this really was just all a game. We're playing checkers. He's playing chess. But it is actually Donatella's birthday. And what arrives? A rose. And the book ends with a message from Dante to Donatella saying, hey, you won Caraval, so hit me up when you want your prize. Are you not gagged? Like, I love Dante and I hate him. There were so many twists in this. It all gets so confusing. And I hope I explained it in a semi-salient way. This addition of the fates and that extra level of world building means this really is like a leveling up from book one. Some people really don't like the shift in focus from Scarlet to Donatella. As I've said multiple times, Scarlet is a much better sister to Donatella than Donatella is to Scarlet. And people judge Donatella quite harshly because of that. I don't think it's Donatella's fault that Scarlet is as awesome as she is. But I do have to say that I liked this book. I loved this book. I loved the element of Jax being this somewhat nefarious figure. Like, you know, he's a murderer. He says, like, I kill people all the time. I could kill you if I wanted to. And his power play obviously isn't quite over, but he comes through on his promise. He makes the full trade, and we have a lot more to see of him because there is a third book. Donatella is now, shall we say, way less trusting of Dante now that she knows that Dante is legend. And are you not gagged? Did you guess back in book one when we first met Dante at this hotel with his supposed sister Valentina that was the real legend all along? No one around him knows that he's the real legend except Julian. The other people at Caraval, they don't even know he's their boss. They just think he's another member of the troupe. Is that not, like, so amazing? And now we know that there's way more going on with Donatella's mom. Like, why was she messing around with the deck of cards? How did she get the deck of cards? Why has she been able to hide the deck of cards for so long? Why was it said that her second-born child would have all this power? If her mum was just a normal person, why would her kid have power at all? So many questions, so much still left unanswered. And now we're in the position where legend has expanded beyond Caraval. He is positioning himself to literally take over the Empire. So who is the enemy? Who is the friend? And Scarlet's now decided to give the Count another chance. Are we going to see him again in the next book? You'll have to watch my next video to find out. But oh my goodness, I hope you've enjoyed this recap. I love Legendary, not just because it is a great book, but because we meet Jax and he's fantastic all the way throughout. I know I went really heavy on Jax at the beginning and his intro, but that's because I know people who've read Once Upon a Broken Heart are going to care an awful lot about the way that Jax is presented in this book. He is a menace and we love him. But honestly, he is just super involved all the way through. He is a major element of the plot pretty much from the beginning of book one all the way through now. Let me know if you've liked this recap. We've gone really in depth in some bits and skimmed over a lot that I personally decided wasn't relevant because this is just me talking about a book that I've read and I really enjoyed. Actually, let me get the book and hold it up for the end. This is not the right book. It is not my fault that the covers look very similar. Okay, the first one's like maybe less blue and more black, and this one has a hint of blue on it, but still, it's easy to mistake them for each other. But yes, let me know if you've enjoyed series as discussion focusing on Legendary. I've really enjoyed it. I got to like majorly simp for Jax for a disproportionate amount of this video, but he took up a lot of my attention and a lot of my brain power. I really like this book. It is a very good sequel to book one. It builds on a lot of stuff. It is expansive and it sets us up for a really strong finale. So thank you for watching. If you still are at this point, I hope you've enjoyed the video as much as I've enjoyed sitting here and chatting about a book I loved. I will join you again soon for part 3, which will focus on the final book finale. Then we can discuss some broader themes and just general thoughts on the series as a whole. If you have any other books you want me to talk about, please comment below, let me know, and by all means just chat to me in the comments. I want to hear your opinions on this video. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. As always, I've been Christy Clogs and I will see you later, alligator.